Awesome. I think we can start. Da da da. All right. So one of the things I wanted to also announce is we are now sponsoring the Hackstack Pakistan as well. So it's amazing to be part of the community and also to be able to contribute to that as well. But having said that, we're gonna start looking into. So we do have the chat as well. Let's see. Close this guy. Ng Flight, Angular Fire, File.coffee, Pure CSS Loaders, Example Guide. So this is where we are running our project. So let's quickly go to here and then let's see if I'm running the dev. So the platforms that I'm streaming at is yeah, I think we got it covered. Cool. Let's quickly open this guy. Hi Aditya, how's it going? How are you doing, Aditya? You want to turn on one more light? How's it going? Okay, so the last time we did create the header component with navigation. Uh-huh. Okay, I think we were adding the headers. No, not the headers, but the header component itself. So we can say, all right, copy all of this. Once you have copied this, you should be able to see the header component like this. Let's see. I don't want to migrate. npm start. How's it going, everyone? Should probably sit. Let's do that. Let's sit. No. All right. Cool. We good. Let's see if I can quickly click this. Yes. I think we should be using the focus Doro. Let's keep it 30 minutes of focus session, and then I will have to take a break. I think that's a good strategy. Wait a second. Session duration is 30 minutes. How much can I take a break? Hide badges on taskbar, apps, blah blah blah. Mm. Okay, so 30 minutes is the session. You'll have one break. Um, if I have two breaks, then I'm taking 10. No. All right, let's see. Maybe we can do 80. I think we can do 80. All right, let's do it. Up next, 5 minutes break. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. Awesome. So this is what we were doing before. Let's quickly go to the browser. So here we had the documentation for this. Let's maybe put this on the side, bring this guy right here, and maybe we can do a bit of zoom in or zoom out. And give me 1 second. Let's see. Should probably close this guy. Yep. Changes may not be saved. That's fine. Cool. So I don't have anything now that I don't want to show. Okay, so we created. Now update the contents of the app component as follows. Cool, cool, cool. And then we also had the how do you change the title bar color in VS Code? Because I want to differentiate between this one and the original one. So I think it's window.title bar style. Mm-hmm. Yes. So what am I? Hmm. Theme color reference. You earned the custodian badge. Oh, thank you. Maybe this one. So let's go to the settings. And where's my app? Right here. I think this is fine. Okay, so let's go to settings. And in the settings, we should have change in settings or edit in workbench color customization. Edit in settings JSON. And if I go right here, come down. Is it the same? Workbench color customizations? Yeah. And if I do this, yay, let's go. Maybe we can do something different. I would love to use a purplish color, something like this, but then towards the dark side, maybe a bit more dark, too dark, right? Maybe like this. Cool. Should also have activity bar text color as well. So activity bar dot text, no, active foreground. It doesn't allow to change the colors. That's not good. Text, no. Color, no. Font, no. Does that change anything? No. Activity bar badge. Oh, there you go. The badge itself is right here. Okay, I think this is good. Good enough. VI packs, please make a Java servlet project. I will have to learn Java to actually make a Java servlet project. I do remember coding Java Spring Boot, but that was years ago. So I don't think I can do it, to be honest. I don't have it in me. So let's make the other one orange. So in here, let's go to settings. Oh, is it for everyone? But it's user setting. Ah, okay. Okay, now this is set for everyone. I don't want this for everyone. I want to set this for do I have settings.json here? Then I can put it here. Yay, let's go. How about the other one? Yeah, let's also change that. So this is how you can change and let's make this yellow. So I know, all right, I should not be trusting this guy. How do I change the color of activity bar? foreground. Uh, uh, uh. But is this for the activity header? No. Activity for beginning. For beginning, I can maybe look into it. I can look into it. No problem. I can try to look into it. Let's this give this guy a so these should be white. Let's also change the other one. These should be black. Then you also have inactive foreground. I also want these to be gray, maybe. Por favor. Por favor. Look at that. So maybe this works for now. And then we also had activity bar dot badge. Ooh, this is starting to look pretty interesting. I don't know. Let's keep it like this. Okay, so we have this one. Let's go from here. So far what we have done is we do have the, I'm not sure if I need to go here. Yes. So far we had the header component. Let's have a look at the other one. So this has to be, I don't think there is any CSS. Make the video in Hindi because the 70% student only see in the Hindi video stream and they easily understand it. Are you talking about the Java servlet video or this video? Which video? But in either case, I can look into it. I haven't seen a lot of demand of Hindi, to be honest. So I'm not really sure. Okay, so we have the homeworks right here. Let's quickly go here. Let's also run this npm run start all videos. Now I'm not really sure, to be honest. And I can say port 8080. Come on, 8080, and open it. So this will run as well. Because everyone learn many languages, it's helped to make reach high. I'm not looking for high reach. I do want to have it in a language that is universal, or not universal, but maybe has a bit more diversity. So I think if I limit it to Hindi, then it's only going to be in India and Pakistan. So I'm not really sure, to be honest. Okay, so now that we have this, let's look into the steps. So we have, okay, so we also need now the header component that should have the about and home link as well. So maybe we should have not these, but actually about and home links. So let's quickly implement that. So what I'm going to do is let's go here and change this right here from all this SVG magic to just two links. So here we can keep this simple and we can say, if I remove this guy, 4200 home. Okay, so now we've got rid of it. If I also remove, I think I can keep the span, but then I can have What's happening? Oh, okay. But then I can have things like a div that is flex items center, and then I can have two links. So I can have a href, and here we can have about. So we have two links, home and a href about. Which language is best for future high goal? I cannot see the future, but whatever language you can be good at is going to help you out. So there's no silver bullet. But if you are working with Java, if you're working with JDBC, I think it's a good choice as well. So let's go with text, Slate 900, and dark text white. Also, let's add a bit of gap to it. So gap should be 4. These ones can have the same classes, so we can do something like this. So we have a class, hover, text, underline, no, underline. I think that should be it. So we can see underline as well. We can also see hover, underline, offset 2. So we have a bit of spacing, maybe 6. No, we have 4. Yes. So I think this looks pretty nice. We can also say hover, text, gray, or if we are using slate, so we use slate 600. But if it's dark, hover, then we do text slate 500. Right? So this looks nice. Now you can go to about and you can see home as well. So in this case, we can say, all right, now if you have this implemented properly, then you can go and then you can definitely go and follow this completely. Okay, so then we have routing. In the routing, we should have this whole text. Let's cut it from here. Okay, so now we have this header, super cool. Dark mode. Let's change this to light. This looks good in light mode as well, super cool. And we can also say dark. Cool. In light mode, we are referring to a lighter gray, which seems okay. And then in dark mode, we are referring to this. Cool. So about works. Now let's go and implement the I'm looking at the body now. So in the app component HTML, we should have right here a bg slate 900. Ooh, I'm not really sure now. Because now comes the problem of this being completely, for example, the app root has a header and has a main, right? The body is not taking 100% height. The HTML is also not taking 100% height. So we should have the app component CSS having some styles. So this should be, I think, the main. I'm thinking now. Hmm. 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 Maybe we should give this a class of block and min height screen, because if we do so, then we should have this guy and app root having everything. Then we would also have to give this guy as well as in, so if I give this guy a flex, I'm not really sure if I should go too much into design or not, but maybe thinking. So index HTML, if I go here, then I would also have to give this flex column, but then this shouldn't be block. And if I do this, then my app component should say this is gonna take flex 1, and you can see then it works. And it should also take a width of full. So this is how it's gonna go. Can you make a footer as well? I mean, I can, yes, I can. But I'm looking at, for example, if you can add a footer, for example, PG white, I don't know, text blue, something something, and I am a footer, and that should also work, as you can see. But the whole thing is this should still be like this, so I'm gonna have to work a bit on the styles, and I would also have to update the information here as well. I don't want to style a lot because this is a workshop of Angular and not CSS, so I'm not really sure at the moment. Let's see. So maybe in the tailwind CSS part we can add this. So we can say, for example, once the tailwind CSS is done, we can go ahead and say in tailwind CSS we should be saying once then we can clean up the view and add okay. Once tailwind CSS is installed and set up, update the index.html as follows to have to configure the root component styles. And here we can say HTML. So this is an HTML that we are working with, and you can say something like this. So we can say body and body. Okay, so we can do it like this. So here it says body blah blah blah, and we can also say head. Cool. Which database to use? You can use PostgreSQL. So got this guy. We can refer to the body as well. Now when we go inside, now we can remove the footer, and I think we copied the main class, so let's change that. So this guy has to be this BG slate 900, or actually we should be having BG gray 100 but dark BG slate 900, text slate 900, dark text white. So now if I go to my application, what did I do? let's move this guy right here so we can actually see the changes. There you go. So this looks nice. If I go to the light mode, I should be able to see the light mode colors. Super nice, as you can see. Cool. So about works. I'm also gonna update the tailwind CSS part here. So we did update it like this. Then we should also have in the routing part, we did add, I think right here maybe. No. Da 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 here. So here we can say something like this. Cool. And now we have this. Cool, cool, cool. So following the steps so far, and now I'm going to show you something interesting. Maybe you don't know this already. So if you're working with Angular, and if I look at JavaScript files, and if I refresh now, you should be able to see a couple of things. So we have got the main.js. And if I try to go here, and if I see about component, you can see the about component right here. And wait a second, I want to do something. Stream deck. Let's put Twitch Studio select scene. We did have something that I don't recall now. Give me 1 second. I want to see if I can create a clip on Twitch from Stream Deck. So Stream Deck, create clip on Twitch. Is there an article that I can see? So Twitch, where is Twitch? I can see Twitch, Twitter, Control Center, OBS Studio, Twitch Studio, but not Twitch itself. Do I have to add anything? Stream Deck Twitch integration. This article goes over actions for Twitch, table of contents, add account, chat message, blah, blah, blah. Aha, okay, now I understand. So in here, accounts, there we go. Ah, now I see. So I should be able to connect with YouTube. Let's see. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to add, oh, I have a 5 minutes break, but I'm also going to connect Twitch as well. Yep. There we go. And I also want to connect, maybe I want to connect Facebook as well. Allow all cookies. But why? No. Why do you open it like this? Why don't you open it in? Anyways, so now I can maybe go and say YouTube. There we go. Start stop stream, open dashboard, play ad. Can I play ad? I don't think so. Can I play ad? Can you tell me if I press this button and you see an ad, let me know in the chat. 1, 2, 3. I'm not really sure if you can see an ad now. That would be super weird because I did not see that at all before. Send a message to chat. Interesting. So I'm not really sure if this works. Anyways, so we can go to Twitch and clip. You can see an ad right there. That's interesting. Okay, so in this case, we do have clear chat, chat message, sub chat, create a clip. This is the one. So I want to create a clip so I remember. I remember to do it. Cool. And there we go. Then also we can look into open the last created clip. Open clip. Can I do open clip? Yes. And I also want to do one more thing, and that is on YouTube. I want to open the dashboard, maybe. I'm not really sure. No. Uh, I don't know. Let's put this guy right here. Cool. We'll see. Okay, so what is work of Twitch? Twitch is also like YouTube, but you can also stream there. So if I go to Twitch on my account, I'm also streaming there as well. So you can see me streaming there as well. And you can also see all the chat right here as well. I think I've got 871 followers there. Yeah. But yes, so I can create clips there. That's good. All right. When I create a clip, how long is the clip? That's a good question. If I do clip, create a clip of your live stream, quickly create a clip. Okay, we'll see. Anyways, so I wanted to show you something. All right. So this is the real deal. So in Angular, if I'm using the code something like this, so for example, if my routes are like this, where you have two different routes and both of them are using component as how you're defining the route, then they will be loaded automatically in the main.js. For example, here you can see I'm on the about page. If I refresh and if I go to main.js, I will still see them as home component. You can see that there's the definition. This is the actual component class. And this is everything inside the home component. So home component factory, everything is there. You can also see about component factory as well right here. So about component factory, and this is the whole about component. So even if I'm on one single page or one of the pages, all my code is in this main.js bundle, which is not optimal. So to avoid this, what we can do is we can change this to lazy load the components. And the way we do this is we use something called load component. And in here, I'm going to use this import statement to load the component. So I can make this component or this function async. And in here, I can say something like const module equals await import. And you can do an import right here. And you can do something like this. So I'm going to import the home component file. And once I've imported this, I can just say return mod.home component. And this will lazy load this component for me. So one of the things that you will be able to see now is if I'm on the about page and if I refresh, and now if I go to main.js, you will see that if I try to find home component, it only finds one instance of it, and I cannot see the home component class anymore. However, look at the place right here. If I go to home component now you can see it downloaded another JavaScript file that has the home component. So the we have split the dependencies into two different things, or we have code splitted it based on routes. So now whenever I go to the about page, my home page will not be loaded, but if I go to home page, then my home page will be loaded. If I do the same thing for the about component, then both of them can be lazily loaded. For example, now if I change this about to exactly the same thing as the home, I can change this to about right here, and this one can be about component, and then the class becomes the about component class. You can see Angular language service helping me out there. And then have I missed something? Yeah, I missed this guy. So if I do this, then now both of my components are lazily loaded. So if I refresh now, you can see when I'm on the home page, automatically this app home component, this bundle gets downloaded. If I go to main.js and try to find about, it's not there. The about component definition is not there at all. If I am on about page, now you can see I loaded the about component. So that is really good because now my main.js file is really small. Previously, my main.js file was a bit bigger. Now it's a bit smaller. Right now, after the optimization, it is 12.4 kilobytes, as you can see. If I change this back, let's see what it was initially. So from 12.4, without optimization, the main.js was 15.4. So we have essentially reduced 3 kilobytes. Now this is a really small application, so you might be thinking, no, 3 kilobyte don't really matter, but actually they do, especially when your application grows. So from 15.4, now we have reduced to 12.4, and every route has its own JavaScript bundle. So for example, this one is 2.4 kilobytes, which is the about component. And if I go to home component, then you'll also see that this is about 2.4 kilobytes as well. So this is how you you split your Angular code for code splitting. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's see if I was able to create this as well. Cool. So I should be able to create this as well. Which file run? Only that file take load. Exactly. So it depends on your route. If you're on the home page, then you will load the home page JavaScript file. If you're on the about page, then you only use the about component JavaScript file. So it depends on which page you are at the moment. Cool. One of the things that I also want you to know, and my brain has stopped working, so I did not use the Angular the way I should be using it, and that is here. Can I move this, please? Thank you. If you see the code right here, we should not be having href here, but we should have router link instead. So router link and router link. And now this will, if I now try to go to home, about, it doesn't work. I need to change the header component to include the router link. Is it? No, I think it's a directive. No. So we would have to use the router module. And now this becomes a link. So now if I go here, you can see the pages. And let me show you it now in a proper way. So right now you can see I am in the home. And if I go to about, then I load the about component. So that is essentially how we can change this. And if I'm already on the about page, then it will not reload the about component JavaScript. Cool. Awesome. Let's see. So then we also need to reflect this in the files as well. Once we have added this route, for the routing part, we should be defining the routes like this and then like this. And then for the header component, we should be then doing it like, yes, like this. So I need to replace the header component like this. Here we can say notice that we are using the router link directive to create navigation links in the header. However, they don't work. That's because we need the router module imported in the header component class, so it can use the router link directive. Update the header.component .ts file as follows. Okay, so here we should have a TypeScript file, and then we can quickly go and change it right here. So we have added the router module. Let's quickly change that right here as well. So add it, no. So we can add it like this. Router module. Okay, so now we have router module, and now we can say now the links should work. The links should be working now. Okay, now we can also say reducing the bundle size with lazily loading the modules. So now we can say something like if we look at the code before the routing changed, this was in the app.routes. So now this is what we have. right? So here we can say something like, or we can say optimizing performance and reducing bundle size with lazily loaded routes. So we can say something like, if you open the Chrome debugger and go to the network tab, or actually let's do it like this. Open the Chrome debugger, go to the network tab and filter by JS file. You'll notice that we have a main.js file which is about 15, we can say 16 KB. So we have a main.js file which is about 16 KB kilobytes. If you click that file, you can see the contents containing both home component and the about component classes, which means all our components are inside the main.js bundle. Can we also add an asset? So if we can do something like this. And home.component. As shown in figure 1. And here we can, we have to, oh no. We have to save this file. Let's save this to Ahsan. I think it's in personal. Nope. I think it should be in DevSlam. No, workshops. There you go. 0 public. No. Source assets. Here we can say figure 1.1. Oops. And here we can import the image. So here we can say, was it in the index MDX where we had the image? Where did we have the image? Assets. There you go. So then can we do it like here as well? Can we do like this? So we can say assets figure 1.1.png, and that should show us the image. Figure 1.1, and that is the image. They say the image is not there. Figure 1-1 PNG. Ooh, okay. There we go. And here we can have a hmm. If I create a span here that says figure 1.1, that will be here. And if I say class, no, style width 100%, text align center. Does it apply it? Let's see. We would also have to make it block, I think. Yeah. How about we change this to a paragraph and save this? Cool. We don't have to then work with the. Yeah. Cool. Nice. Um, we have to make. Let's make both the routes lazy. We will load them lazily when the user actually goes to the route. Update the app.routes.ts file as follows. So here we have the TypeScript file. We can go and change the code like this, and we can put it right here. Uh, cool. So then we are saying, hey, let's make both the routes lazy, blah, 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 file as follows. And then we can change as well. And now we can say, now, if you look at the network tab again, you should be able to see separate JS bundles being downloaded for both the routes. I actually thought of something. Ali Eyes. How are you doing, Ali? Actually thought I should probably be tweeting. What? What? 1 second. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Streaming about building a workshop with Astro. Astro framework. Twitter. What is Astro's Twitter handle? It's astro.build. Aha, okay. Building an Angular workshop. Astro build. The drop. I'm not sure if the drop is on. It should be on. There you go. Okay, give me 1 second. What screenshot can we copy? Let's do it like this. let's copy this guy and move to Twitch. And we can then say Angular Astro.build Astro TypeScript performance slam. Okay, let's post this guy. Sir, have you worked in mobile app development? Yes, I have. What's your question? What is your question? Let's remove this guy. Okay. So now we can say if we have completely done all right. So where are you? Yes. So if we try to do this, then we can remove this, and then we can say something like that's the header component. This is the app that I'm working with, and this is what I want to see. So then let's go to the 0 to 0, and this should be replaced with this. Notice that we've removed the home component and about component imports. Is learning Flutter worth or learning Kotlin with Jetpack Compose? Can you guide in this matter? It depends, Usama, on what you like more. So both of them are equally good. So it's up to you. You can choose whatever you want. So both of them are equally fine. Pick one. Okay. So then we should have, if we have this done, then we should have things like about works, and then we should have homeworks. So then we should have Shift S. एसन भाई रिएक्ट नेटिव पे काम नहीं करते. आई यूज टू वर्क ऑन रिएक्ट नेटिव क्वाइट अ लॉट. मैं यहाँ पे क्लारना के अंदर मूव हुआ था स्वीडन में. तो क्लारना यूजेस रिएक्ट नेटिव. स्ट्रीम में कभी कोई ऐप बनाया करे ना. ये आपको क्या लग रहा है? व्हाट इज़ दिस? दिस एस्ट्रो वर्कशॉप इज़ एन ऐप. दिस फ्लाइट स्कैनर इज़ ऑल्सो एन ऐप. It's not probably the app that you like, but it's still an app. But yes, maybe we can build a React Native application someday as well, for sure. Abhi problem is that I have to travel to the conference is particular workshop ke liye, and I have to finish this as soon as possible. So yes, I hope once this is done, तो फिर हम कर सकते हैं. Then we can definitely do it. Shops, 0 to hero, source, assets, figure 1.2. Save this guy, and then we can add it right here. Okay, so then we can say looking forward to it, for sure. As shown in figure. Remind me to take a break. मैंने break नहीं लिया है बहुत वक्त से. So let's there's 1 minute of focus remaining, and then I'll take a break. Where's my image? Where are you? There you are. Okay, so in this case, then we'll add 1-2, 1.2, figure 1.2, and we should have, yay! So 1.2 shows figure 1.2, and we can maybe add captions to it as well. So this one should say figure 1.1, all components bundled in main.js. Lazily loading home and about routes. Nope. Get out. Okay. Cool. Looks nice. Looks nice so far. So I think this Angular routing part is pretty nice. I think 1 घंटे के लिए what you're trying to have them build, it's gonna be nice. So we have setup tailwind CSS. इसमें हमने बता दिया था कि आप root को आप change कर लें. Good, good, good. Then we also recommended VS Code. Cool. So my break is 5 minutes now, and that starts now. So I'm gonna go and take a 5 minutes break, as you can see right here. So then I'll be back after. Can I expand this? So we'll take a 5 minutes break. Wait, क्या किया मैंने? Nope. That was not the idea. This is the idea. ठीक है, तो I'll be right back. See you in a bit. Feel free to play the drop game while I'm away. So be right back and feel free to play the drop game. Okay, I'm back. Give me 1 second. Oh, my camera is dead. What happened? हम्म काशिफ अहमद कह रहे हैं सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है कंप्यूटर विजन मॉडल्स को इजीली वेब में मोबाइल ऐप में किस तरह इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हैं आई थिंक देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज आप इट डिपेंड्स ऑन वेयर डू यू वांट टू रन द where do you want to run everything essentially if it's supposed to be on if it is supposed to be on the device itself तो TensorFlow JS है उसको इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं we also have other means as well but I think TensorFlow JS is probably one of the major ones that you could use or a version of TensorFlow if that makes sense so yes that's what you can do okay let's move the focus up top all right where were we so we did implement the Angular routing so everybody should be able to see the pages so far maybe we can add a bit of appreciation awesome you now know how to implement lazily loaded routes in Angular clap 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 okay so we can do this cool so after we've created the Angular route I think we can go ahead with the details of the components themselves oh this is gonna suck let's keep it like this maybe so then what we have to do is now we can say generate or we can say set up Firebase so we can have them set up the Firebase Firebase so we okay so we talked about creating the first Angular application working with routing we also have to talk about standalone components as well but maybe we can okay let's see so we have to set up Firestore for them so we can say something like um let's see I'm thinking maybe we can first have them generate the cards and maybe show signal based components let's do that so we can now work on the flight card so let's create another file we're going to go ahead and say hey we have signal based components.md so in this one we can say we're going to copy from the tailwind css since it's the shortest one but in the mdx file we did use like different cards right so card grid we also had stagger what else do we have in starlight components so starlight components compatibility with the starlight style built-in components so we do have for example tabs and whatnot give me 1 second where did I put it okay back So we can, maybe we can put it here for the timer. Okay, so we do have tabs like these. Interesting. But then can't we but then can we can shorten this down, right? Because then I could just say app dot, okay. So it's, yeah, let's see. So then we can maybe say routing, and in here we can change this to mdx. If I go to my pages, does it still work? I'm assuming no. Yeah, so md does not match anything, right? So then we would have to go to our Astro config mjs. This should be, can I have that as an mdx or no? I think no, because here now it says something like uh oh, because title is required. No, wait a second. But that's a different thing. I mean, we do have this guy right here. So we can say signal based components. Walaikum assalam, Zain, kya hal hai? How are you doing? But then this one, front method does not match schema. What do you mean? I think this should be good, right? Cool. And setup tailwind CSS also still works. That's good. Routing MDX also works. Angular routing. Cool. Then I think in the MDX we should be able to just add some components. So just like in the index, we did import the cards. So we can also do that. So in routing MDX, we can go here, and I think, where was it? I think it was in the header component. Now update the contents of the header component as well. Header component as follows. But then would we have to render it like this? Let's see. But then, I'm thinking. But can I then write mdx into this? So for example, if I import this guy right here, and then I add 2 tabs, and then if I have header dot component dot html and header dot component dot ts, can I inside this write html? div div, or is this cool or what? If I can do this, that would be awesome. No, you can actually do it. Wow. Okay. I like it. I like it. So then I can move this header component into the tabs. Wow, this is amazing. I'm not sure if this is the best use for it, but this is amazing. So I can then put header inside this. So instead of two huge contents, we can now say header component HTML and header component TypeScript. Yay, that's awesome. Then I can move the TypeScript as well. So this guy, so then we can move this guy inside. Oops. TS. Alhamdulillah, how about you? All good? Yes, Alhamdulillah, everything is good. Okay, so then I can, so now this looks really, really good. I like it. Why do I have this scroll or button here? So you have a scroll right here. Oh, I think this is something just weird. So we have the header component HTML, header component TypeScript. Cool, cool. I love it. I love it. I can also say if we don't add router module to if you don't add router module to the header component classes imports, the router link directive won't work. Okay, so then we can add that as a note, and we can add that as a note like this. Note, okay, look how beautiful this looks. Love it. Okay, the link should be working now. Cool, cool, cool. Optimizing performance, reducing bundle size. Cool, cool, cool. I think this is good so far. How did it go up? It was right here, right? How did this go up? Anyways, what are you building? Sorry, and on which tech stack? Sorry, just understanding. No problem. I'm building with something called Astro. So we have a Astro is sort of something, you can say it's something like React or Vue, blah blah blah. So it's a framework that you can use to build web applications. But they also have a template called Starlight for building documentation. So I'm using that template, so to say, to actually build a workshop for one of the workshops that I'm going to give, inshallah, next month. So I'm just creating an Angular workshop using Astro, if that makes sense. What's the best way to stream? What? Online code? No, we don't want that. Cool, awesome. So we talked about Tailwind CSS, talked about Angular CLI itself. We talked about Angular routing. Let's implement the flight component. So what I'm gonna do now is we have to create a component for the flight card. So we can quickly do that. We can say ngg component. We can say components / flight card, and we can create it like this. Then of course not following. Thank you so much for following, but I don't know anything that you just asked. So then we have the flight card. Let's quickly copy paste the code from the flight card. So if I go to flight card right here, I can copy all the content. Oops, from here. Do we have anything in the? Yes, we also have that in here as well. So then we can say signal based component. So here, creating the flight card component. So in here we can define signals, or a new set of APIs from the Angular team currently in developer preview, which comes with a lot of improvements when it comes to the reactive paradigm of managing state along with how along with improved performance and change detection strategy. So when said that, here we can say we will create our first signal based component using the following command in the terminal: bash. Here we can here we can say nggc components live card, and this will create a component for us. And then we can also say, and let's maybe change this to mdx, because we are going to use some cards there as well. So in here, if I go to here, I also need to add this signal based components to my configuration as well. So go to astro.config.js, copy paste signal based components. Cool. So then I should be able to see it right here, signal based components, and we should be right here, signal based components. So we are creating the components flight card, and in here we can then ask them to replace the code in there. So close the others. And now I also want to add the tabs as before. Where are my tabs? They're my tabs. So da 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 da. And there you are. So here I can then go to signal based components, and here I can import the same thing. So then what I want to do is I want to get rid of all of this signal based components, and here then we can say once the components, or once filed for the component, for the flight card component created, update them as follows. So we are going to update them. We're going to use two tabs. We can say flight card component HTML. Let's pick the HTML from here. So we're gonna change all of this guy to this, and let's see. And then we have the TypeScript file. So flight card.component.ts. It's gonna be like this. And there we go. Cool. So if we look at the UI now, it looks like this. So we have all the files for the flight component are created, update them as follows. Flight card component HTML gets this text. This one is the TypeScript file. Cool, cool, cool. I'm thinking now. Oh, I'm not really sure how we are going to use signals in the components themselves, but I am not sure at the moment. We'll see. We get first. No, I think we create a flight card component, or we can say that. Now I'm thinking, because we don't change anything inside our flight, it's really hard to say that this is going to be a signal based component. Thinking. Mm. Or should we not say signal based components or rather Angular signals? Because I think that makes much more sense than signal based components. So maybe rename this to Angular signals. And then we can say in the config, we should have Angular signals. We don't need the MDX here. Here we can also say signals. Okay. Cool. This guy. Okay, then all we need to do is to go here and go back to routing. And now here we should have Angular signals. Okay. So what I want to do is at least to finish this. So maybe we can add one more focus session that is supposed to be 20 minutes. And then I'm going to wrap it up. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now in the chat. Okay, so we have a 20 minutes focus session. So we got flight card component. I don't think we need this, but we can say, I'm thinking maybe we can have a JSON that we can use to work with let's do that. So we did have a JSON file in the flight generation, blah, blah, blah. I think we had a lot of those things in the JSON. So I'm going to copy this, but we are going to trim that a bit down. So let's see if I say something like cons my data equals this huge JSON, then we should be able to say my data dot airlines dot splice. Let's keep from 0 to 5. Yeah, that's fine. Then we can also say flights and we can keep 50 of them. And now we can say json.stringify flights. No, my data. So we have this really nice JSON. It's still 4.6 megabytes. Wow. Okay. Let's still keep this. So then we can say something like, oh, because then I think we can. I think that we can still. Come on. We should still be able to move this maybe here. Which should still make everything work. Angular signals. Okay, so here we can say Angular signals. Okay, so then no, then we should have, I think, a small JSON file somewhere on maybe GitHub. I'm thinking. Can we render data from here? Thinking. If I go to my code right here, we do have a script that generates the data. So we do create some data at the moment. And we also push that to Firebase as well. Should we have this in the code so they can run it? I'm thinking. Um, 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 yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So we would have to create a couple of things now. So for the Angular based or signal based component, or we can say, um, we can probably say instead of Angular CLI, setup tailwind CSS, um, Angular signals, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really sure if signals is a good way at the moment. I mean, we can use this, but before that, we also need to set up some data as well. So maybe we can say managing the data, maybe something like that, because now we are looking into what should we do. We should get the data, create the data, use signals to render the flight cards, and then make the API call as I don't know. Maybe we can create the data later on when we have the file ready. Maybe, not really sure. So if I go to assets, can I create a data.json? Can I do this? Yeah, then I think we should have it. So delete, delete 4.4 megabytes, blah, blah, blah. We have about 200,000 lines of data. It makes perfect sense. So let's say we have a data.json. Can I render that inside? Um, let's say we go and say, first, let's work with some data. We have the following JSON data to work with. And then can I use import data from assets? No. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then assets dot data dot JSON. Can I render this here? If I try to do something like this, no, object, there we go. Can I do JSON.stringify? That would be hilarious. Can I do JSON? And then here, can I do stringify? I'm just breaking all the rules right here. No, this is gonna be stupid, of course. If I remove the JSON, then if I do this, there you go. We have all the data, but then I can move this inside a pre tag, right? And then I can do this. And then I can also say null 2. And then there we go. So we do have, now we have the whole freaking data right here. I mean, why do I even, no. Okay, no. But I like Astro. Okay. We probably don't need to do this, to be honest. I don't think it's, no, I don't think we should do it. So we can probably say, instead of data.json, we can say something like copy. Once we have the following JSON data to work with, and I think this should be a link. So this should be something like we have some JSON data to work with, and this should essentially link to assets data.json. Okay, so this is, and if I open this, what? Where's my data? Where's my data? Is it something like this? No. If I go to an image, let's see, routing, blah, 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 image, open image in new tab. Oh, but that's minified. Is that the right name? Yes. If I do this, obviously that's not gonna work. 4. Yes. Who? Is it? No. I'm assuming no, of course. So assets, or is it public? No. So we have public where we have favicon svg. Maybe let's move this to public, right? If we move that, then it should just be this, right? And if I open this, yay, there we go. Huge data JSON. Okay, cool. So we have, first let's work with some data. We have some JSON data to work with. Then we can say something like so we have the JSON. First create an interface. Interface for the data type we are using, i.e. for flights. That is for flights. Let's create a new file inside our where do we have the new file? It's inside, no, it's inside source app no, not components, but we have it inside the types and interfaces. So we're going to say create a new file. Inside our source folder and name it types and interfaces.ts. Add the following code to it. Here now we can use tabs, tab, 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 and in here we can have, I'm just using tabs because it can show the name of the file up top, but I think that's helpful. So then we have ts. So then we can go to our file, and here we can just use this. What happened? Tabs. Is it correct? Oh, what happened? Tab item. Aha. Oh, label. So we have the label called types and interfaces.ts. Okay, then we should have it right here. Cool. Okay. So here we can say, since the data is generated from a nice package called ng neat also going to install it to be to use the build types from it. Install the package follows bash npm install save ng neat also. Do we also have installed the types as well? Package also. No. So the types come with that. Cool. Okay. Then we can say now we will create an interface for the data we're using for flights. That's and we are now using this as well. Then we also have the airline that's coming in. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. And then we have the files generated, and then we have the tab right here, tab item. Then we have the TypeScript file, which also uses, no, it uses from source app. Oh, we need to have it inside the source app folder. So then it should be inside the source app. Should we say source app interfaces? I'm not really sure. I mean, it's a bit inconsistent, but I don't know if this helps. Maybe it helps. Source app types and interfaces. I mean, it makes these things clear. Source app types interfaces here, blah blah blah. So then we create a flight component, blah blah blah. It creates it. Then we have this guy, this guy. It imports things from the following files, and it should work. And then we have iFlight as well. Cool. Now that we have this, let's we will have to, I think we can say to copy the data.json file. I'm thinking. Maybe we can say maybe we can move the API data before. Thinking. So maybe let's make the API calls. Let's not use signals at the moment. We can use the API calls before that. So then we can say something like API calls in Angular. MDX. Then it should be the same. The HTTP client API calls in Angular. So in here we can then say, but then I think we would have to move it a bit up and down. So for example, before Angular signals, then comes this guy. API calls in Angular. So then we have API calls in Angular, Angular routing. So we created the home and about component. We had those as well. then we should be looking into API calls in Angular. So then we are talking about first generating the service. So we can say NTG as services. What did we name the service? Flight service. Flights. Flight. So then we have a service that we have created, and then we can say so then we can say in the Angular 02 hero. So here we can say to make API calls in our Angular application, we will create an Angular service, because as a prominent, this is a prominent practice to place to keep the HTTP calls inside Angular services. We will create our first Angular service by running the following command in the terminal. We can say here TypeScript bash nggs service sys flight. This creates okay, the flight service above mentioned folder Okay, so in here we can say before we can make HTTP calls in an Angular or in a standalone components based application, we need to provide the APIs for or the HTTP client APIs to the application via config in the app.config.ts file as follows. So we do create a tabs and tab item. So let's go with this one. API calls in Angular, blah blah blah. Import the tab and tab item. So here we need a tab actually tabs, tab item, and then we have and then inside we also have to have a label that says source app services. No, is it app services? Yeah. So flight service.ts. Abdurrahman Ujjan, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you, Abdurrahman? And then we can give it. Oh, but we need to do the app config.ts. Config.ts. So in this, we can then say this guy, this, and then we can have this right here. Now we can remove the import providers from. We can use this guy, and this as well. So we should be removing all of this and this. And let's see. So I'm gonna copy this guy. Good Hassan bhai, aap batao. Alhamdulillah, I'm good as well. Just working on working on the workshop I have to give in a few weeks. So we use add this, and that means all I need to do right now is to copy this, go to my application, go to config, and do this. Cool. And then I can remove this guy. Any errors so far? No, not really. Cool. Then we can go to the service and change the flight service. So we can go to our flight service, which should look like this. And then we can say here as well. Or we can say creating our first Angular service. And then we can say providing the HTTP client APIs to the standalone app. So then we should see this providing HTTP client APIs, and then we can say flight service to make HTTP calls. In here we can create the tab, tabs, tab item, and here we have the TypeScript file, and then here we can say this guy. So this, and then there should be a label that says source app services flight dot service dot ts. Okay, then we should also be looking into this thing. So we added this guy. Whoops, we added this. We added this. We also added, I think I need to go to the restream to enable the drop. Yeah, there is something weird. If it's in the background, it doesn't work for some reason. But anyways, added this, add this, and this. Okay. So once we have this, we should be able to then have, I think here we have to define workshop GitHub repo slash assets slash public slash data.json. I think we would have to do something like this. So then we can have something like this. Workshop GitHub repo public data.json. So once we have this added, then we should have Okay, so let's do this. We should have all of this done like this. It should be called flight service and not flight service, right? Oh, we also don't have the interface as well, but this should be flight service. Then also we should have, looks so complicated. Yeah, because we're doing a 1 hour workshop. That's why it looks a bit complicated. So we have the flight service in the we also talked about service flight, blah blah blah. Where did we go with the types and interfaces? Was it in the where's my interface? Where did we create the interface? So we did go to routing. I think it's in the signals. Yeah, maybe here. So we need them here. So I'm gonna copy this, go here. Oops. And in here we can do it. So we have the services flight, blah blah blah. Um, then we also have to do, and we also need to make this. We can say we will create an interface for the data type we're going to use, i.e. for flights. Let's create a new file inside this order, then add the following code to it. So this means here when they come to API calls, they create the service, they go and update the app config ts, they update the types and interfaces. They would also have to install the package as well. Oh, okay. So then I can remove this guy as well. So I'm gonna cut this from here and paste it here. So first uh let's understand that we will work with some JSON data. Since the data is generated from a nice package called engineered also, we're going to we add this statement. So that means here, if I open this, we should have the JSON data right here. Cool. Then we ask them to install the package. Oh no, it's right here. Engineered also. Then we create an interface, blah blah blah. Then we should create the service, but we don't have any text for the service. Okay. So in here we can then say we can say now that we have the interface, the types created. I mean, we could have just said it types, to be honest. And this means that we would have just this guy, and that should be good. So this means let's change this to types. And that means we'll go and say, hey, inside the app, we will have a types.ts that will contain the types just like this. But of course, this says this is crying, and that is because we don't have the package installed. So we can say npm install save ng need falso. So we can install the package, and then we should be fine with the types. Cool. There we go. Awesome. So then this is cool. So is this source app types? Yes. Source app types. Cool. So then we have the types, and then we can add the types from here. Then we can also use this guy. Super cool. All right. Then we go to the service. We make the API call. I'm thinking. Once we have the data, we should be able to inject this in the home component, and we just render this. So then we can say that we have, or actually let's let's make this repo thingy work. So let's see which is the file that I've not saved. Blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. So then I can quickly commit this. So we can say Astro config. This is the one that we added. Okay. Then we got the data JSON. We added a bunch of figures, API calls, blah blah blah. Cool. I think we're good. So let's commit this. Git commit. We can say fee or docs. We can say routing. Uh, finalized routing and finalized routing. Work in progress and API calls in Angular. Work in progress. Angular signals. Push. What time is it there? It's about 10:16. About 10:16 p.m. Git add, git commit, please. Git push. So then I should be able to work with the data JSON just like this. So let's go to the page. And in here we should have public, and let's go with data JSON, and let's go with the raw file. Cool. Then this is the URL. So we can, I'm going to remove my headphones. So then we can go and in the MDX, I think this is what we can quickly post. So we do have some data that we can work with, and that means I can go quickly and update this guy and this guy. There we go. Once we have that in place, save this guy. Let's see in the browser if everything looks good. So we have built-in component. No, not that one. Where's my here? So then we have a flight service. So we add the URL right here. So we can get that really quick. Once we have this, we should be able to make the HTTP call, but right now I don't have this. So yes, I'm not really sure. For now, I think I can just say localhost 4200. Because if I try to do this, it's not going to work, but we'll see. Okay, so now because it's a private GitHub repository, but now that I have this, I think the only thing remaining is to go to the home component, inject the service. So we can say flight service equals inject flight service, and then we can say implements on init ng on init, and then here we can say this dot flight service dot get data, subscribe, and we can say next, and this should give us flights. So this gives us a response, and then we have some flights. So here we can actually console log the response. So this is what we want, right? What happened? What? Subscribe. There we go. So now if I go to my application and if I refresh now, you should be able to see the query to data JSON, but there is no response. Oh, there is a response. But is this what? But did we make the repository public? I'm not really sure. Anyways, so then we have the airlines and the flights as well. Cool. But now I'm confused. I think I should. What? I think I did a boo boo. And let's refresh this guy. So if I refresh this, I should have response, which is this. So response.airlines equals response.airlines.slice. We start 0, we end at 5, right? So we do response. Cool. And then we also should have response.flights. And then we can say something like response flights dot filter flight dot airline. I'm thinking now. We can probably say response dot airlines dot some airline flight dot airline equals to airline. Okay, that means I don't have any data for that airline. Or if I open the airline itself, I made a mistake. No. Okay, let's do this again. Refresh. So this should be something like this, and this should be airline dot name. Fresh. Response dot flights, blah blah blah. Oh, details are okay. Good that we can debug this. So flight details dot airline dot name. Yay, let's go. And there you go. You have now just seen a Chrome debugger programmer. All right. So now we have the response. Let's go back. And I think we can do a JSON.stringify. This is still 4 MB. What is going on? So let's see, this data.json, this had 200,000 lines of code. If I paste this guy, and now if I do this, how many lines of code do we have? 187,000. I don't really think it really matters in this case, so I'm gonna not do it. Yeah, let's keep it how it was before, so not changing anything. Let's keep it like this. Okay, anyways, so in the home component we should be able to console log this, so we can simply say do this, and then we can also say on error. So we had subscribe that had a next property, and then we should also have a error console.log. Something went wrong. So here we have it. 2 lakh. Yes, just 2 lakh. And this should have an arrow right here, since we are working with arrow functions, of course. So then if I go to my code, remove the breakpoint, I should still be able to see this right here. So the object response airline blah blah blah. Cool. Okay, So then I can see the response. But should I say it like that? Or maybe I think instead of response as an object, just do response. I think that's much nicer. So, or we could also make it a bit nicer by saying response from the API. And there we go. Cool. So we have response from the API and we can see the airlines and we can see the flights. Super cool. Why do we have a black background, a white background? So we do have a main, I think, which has the main has, okay. No. No way. Then I have to now change the styles for everything. But let's finish one thing at a time. So I'm gonna save this guy and we can go to our, because now that we have the flight service done, we can now say in mdx, now that we have our http call the function to make http call implemented, let's use it in the home component or home component when the page component loads. Update the home component ts file as follows. So we quickly add that and we can say tabs, we can say tab item, the label is gonna be source app home dot component dot ts, and then here we have the TypeScript file that says this guy. Okay, cool. And then we can also say add this. So this essentially is going to be added on, add this, and then we have flight service that we have added, then we have added the flight service, and then we also added this as well. So all of this, once we are done, we can then see the data in the console. So after running this, once you have implemented this, go to the home page to see the data in the console. Go to the home page, open the Chrome DevTools to see the data in the console. So now we should have some data. Okay, so we should have some data at this particular point. We implemented the data, we implemented the API calls as well. We also can see the JSON right here as well. Super nice. I think we should be good. The only problem that I can think of right now is that since it's going to be a workshop, there's going to be a lot of people. I'm not really sure if the internet would allow us to work with this huge data, but maybe we can reduce the JSON. So I'm not adding any images right now, which can show something different. So we have the flight service implemented. Let's see if I have at any point said flight service, and I also need to be sure. So flights, search flights. Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. So API calls in Angular, I think this is pretty much done. So we make an API call, we get some data, and I think the next one can be then signals. Once we have signals implemented, the only thing remaining would be Firebase. So I think we're pretty good for that matter. But this looks good. So I'm gonna stop right here. Thank you so much everyone who was watching. I highly appreciate you coming in. And as always, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. My camera just died. Yay! Let me change the battery real quick. But I should be committing this code. So yeah, if something goes wrong, we know where to look for the code. So this is what we did. We added some code. We added some tabs. I'm gonna double check how this looks. So where's my page? Here's my. So we can say, oh, what is this? Now that we have the types, look at that. Now that we have the types, let's use. It's always good to check your code. See, we were missing some information here. Let's update the content of our light service so we can make the API call and use these types. Good. Cool. So let's see. Creating an interface to do types. Nice. Cool. As follows. Cool. Awesome. Have I used Chrome anywhere? Open the browser debugger, go to the network and filter by JS files. Cool. So I think instead of mentioning Chrome, because different people could be using different things, let's keep it browser, even though I know most of them would be using Chrome. Okay, so routing MDX, did we change something here? Yes, we did. Cool. So here we can say git commit. You can say dogs. We fixed API calls in Angular. Section finalize section. Finalize the section of API calls in Angular. Work in progress. Angular signals. Angular, no. Angular signals. Cool. Then we can push this guy. And now we should be good. Awesome. Cool. Let's go. So I'm gonna hop off now. Thank you so much everyone who joined, and I'm gonna see you hopefully tomorrow in the next stream, whenever that happens. So thank you everyone. Take care of yourself, and as always, happy coding. I'm gonna see you later. Allah Hafiz.